did a 5-day fast. I almost died.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do 5 days. I wouldn't do. I do short.
I did a 5-day water fast.
Yeah, 5-day fast is you're gonna lose some serious.
I just did that at a competition. It was for literally zero health benefit. I don't think I got any health benefit. I definitely lost.
But you know what? The fact that you could do it, man, that's just hyper discipline. It is very hard to do a 5-day, especially when you're lean.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of fat, your body.
I told my mom. She challenged me. She's like, "I bet you can't do 5 days." I was like, "Listen, we have different. Love my mother to life." I was like, "We're built a little different, okay?" Like, I'm like sub 10% body fat. This is gonna I'm gonna do it just because I'm gonna beat you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so competitive. It's like I gotta beat my mom. First off, thank you for coming on, Greg O'Gallagher. Thank you to my co-host now. So my boy here, just crushing it from Canada. The Captain Canada is what I keep calling.
Yeah.
How's the day going, bro?
Good, brother.
Good?
I got some sparring in this morning already. So.
Yeah, I know. I gotta get up there, but the insurance biz is going nuts. So yeah, dude, open us up. Open us up with Greg. Kind of give him a little intro, and I'll start jumping in there.
Like, what do you mean by open us up? Like,
Open up, talk.
Okay, yeah.
Second podcast.
So me and Greg are both from Toronto. So number one, like, what are the main benefits that you've actually noticed from coming over to Miami compared to Toronto? Like, what do you like more about Florida?
There's way more energy here to do content. Like Toronto, it's not on the same level. Like the amount of podcasts and people, doing YouTube, it's just an amazing scene. The gyms are way better here. Like Miami's got some freaking incredible gyms. So I love working out. Like it's nice to have a great energy at the gym. So Miami's been unreal. It's also awesome for getting the steps in. I'm big on doing a lot of walking, and in Toronto, like in February, it's freaking cold and dark. It's brutal. So it's great for my lifestyle, my healthy fitness lifestyle. People think Miami, they think 11, they think nightclubs, they think partying till 5 in the morning. And it's like Miami has that side, but it has like a complete like healthy scene as well. Great restaurants here. So, and I also first really started coming to Miami in 2021, 2022, when Toronto was still in lockdown.
Yeah.
So Toronto, you couldn't work out at a gym. You couldn't go out to a restaurant. You were not even supposed to have friends over. And I came to Miami, I went out to the restaurant, the Satai, and it was like euphoric. When you've been kind of very isolated for months, dude, my dopamine was going crazy. And so Miami just has a amazing energy here, a lot of business opportunity. Like I will do more networking in 2 weeks in Miami than entire year in Toronto.
Definitely.
Way more.
Definitely. I'll actually agree with that. I also, what you said about the people here as well, it is a very different energy. I feel like in Toronto, people kind of look down on entrepreneurs and people kind of taking that step to make something out of themselves. And in Miami, literally everybody's doing that. So I feel like it's a lot easier to succeed here as well, just with the positive energy. So tell us a little bit about, so we know that you still do intermittent fasting, correct? So you did change your fasting window from 8 hours to 5 hours. Is that right?
Yes.
So
or like my, yeah, pretty much. Like from the time I wake up, I used to fast longer. I used to push. If I woke up at 9 in the morning, I would go till like 6 p.m. I would do pretty intense fasting, 6 p.m. Now I don't fast quite as long, but in my early days of fasting, I pushed the envelope.
What's your diet look like?
It's pretty relaxed. I'm not crazy strict, but I hit the right amount of calories to drop fat, maintain muscle. I hit the right amount of protein. I eat balanced food. So I eat like lots of steak, potatoes, a little bit of vegetable, some fresh fruits. I'll do some Greek yogurt, maybe some eggs. And then I eat about 500 calories a day of chocolate or cookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I finish every day off with cookies. I'll do about 500 calories, 7 to 8 cookies with some milk. And every time I've got to my leanest, I would finish my calories off with cookies or milk, or cookies or I'd finish my day off with cookies or chocolate.
So yeah, you spoke a little bit about Miami, obviously, like the being a party city, which it is. But you said that there is a big fitness culture around here. So do you actually drink, or how do you factor that into your diet?
Yeah, I've been in Miami. I've definitely drank, right? But lately, the last couple of years, I maybe will do like 2 drinks with dinner. I find like if you can just drink 2 drinks, there's not much downside. It's once you're having 4, 5, 6, 7, where you get the drop in testosterone. Drinking alcohol increases the conversion of testosterone to estrogen, and it raises your sex hormone binding globulin that lowers your free T. So you have to be, and it puts stress on your liver, right? So you got to limit the alcohol. But 2 drinks, there's very little downside.
So speaking about raising testosterone,
Yeah.
talk to us a little bit about Kino Mojo.
Sure. So about 3 years ago, I started to look at a lot of my testimonials because I had these incredible client transformations. And I went and I looked at a lot of the guys that had the best transformations and the guys that it would take a lot longer. And usually the difference was free testosterone. Guys that could gain more muscle, lose more fat, experience fast results, had higher free testosterone. And so to really maximize your results as a natural, you have to get your hormones dialed. If you're going on gear, you're doing anabolics, you're taking TRT, you don't have to worry about this. But as a natural, you need to get your testosterone levels functioning in a good place. And a lot of men are lower than they should be. If you look at like your parents' generation, grandparents' generation, the average man had 700 testosterone nanograms per deciliter. Now the average man has 400 to 500. It's super common. Even young 25-year-olds are like in the 400s. And so there's been this massive drop in testosterone, and there's many factors, many reasons why, but there's been this influx of hormone disruptors in the environment, microplastics. We're exposed to a greater toxic load on a daily basis, and this shuts down your hormone production. So solving for this is vital to get the maximum benefits. And testosterone is not just for gaining more muscle and having more energy. It improves your sleep. It improves your mood. It improves your libido. It improves your ambition, your drive. And so some men that feel very apathetic, they don't have that hunger, that drive, their testosterone levels are like 400 when they should be 600 plus.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I agree. So you're obviously like a very successful guy to a lot of people like watching you on social media. It looks like you do have a dream life in a way. So what's like some advice that you could give to the younger generation just to simplify it to them, kind of to maybe take a couple steps in the right direction to live a life that they're proud of or can just change their life where they could become better?
Right. Well, I always viewed life as being very, very short. And I remember when I was like 17, 18, I was getting ready to go to university. I didn't really see that as the path that excited me, to go do a 4-year program for school, get a job, work up the corporate ladder, work in an office. It didn't really excite me. And so actually I did first year, but the whole time I was kind of trying to figure out my next move, and I dropped out and I started to follow what I was most passionate about. And if you're not sure what you're most passionate about, you want to look at what is your highest value? What's the thing you spend all day researching, talking about, learning about? What excites you? Like you're going to be the most effective at doing what you enjoy doing the most. And so for me, it was fitness. I loved working out. I loved transforming my body. I loved reading books on fitness. And so I focused on mastering health and fitness. I focused on building an influence, creating content, building, digital real estate. So I had visitors that came to my site, I had subscribers. And then from there, I had to, create sort of my unique approach to fitness. And so for people that are not sure what to do, you first want to recognize what is your highest value? What can you do better than anyone else? If you're enthusiastic about something, that's going to help you. And so it just was very, very clear to me. I have to go and study and learn and master what I care about the most. And that's when you have a unique advantage. If I was learning about, in school, I was the kid that I had a very hard time applying myself. But if I really believed in what I was learning, I would be super intelligent. But I would just mostly tune out. And so when I'm excited about something, when I'm enthusiastic, when I see the benefits of learning something, then I get really locked in. And so if that's your personality type, you gotta really wield your attention. You gotta decide what do you really wanna learn and master. And so also didn't want to do university because I knew I wasn't going to really be that interested. I wasn't really going to care. And I saw it firsthand. I did a year of university to see if I was missing anything. And it was an absolute monumental waste of time. You know, I was in classes and they were teaching stuff that was outdated. They were teaching computer skills or computer programs that were obsolete. It was ridiculous.
So when did you launch your offer, your coaching program?
I launched my first offer when I was like 19, 20.
Okay.
And that was a little fat loss ebook. And then over the years, I've launched several different workout programs. And then around when I was 27, we launched supplements.
So what are your supplements that you have?
Yeah. So we started with a pre-workout formula.
Okay.
We did a collagen protein. We have a creatine supplement. We did the Kino Mojo to increase testosterone naturally. We have a blood flow supplement, fat loss supplement. So we put together like a handful of supplements targeted at a specific goal.
And then, so how long have you been in the fitness space then entirely?
Teaching and coaching,
Yeah.
14 years.
Awesome. And then the supplement company you launched at 27. How many? Is that 5 years?
Six years ago.
now? So how's that going?
It's going very well.
So what's your main revenue driver right now? Is it the supplements?
Yeah.
And what all forms of advertisement do you use? Like, is it all organic because you have enough of a following?
It is pretty much built off of my Instagram, my email list, YouTube. So it's essentially 90% organic.
How big's your email list?
It's a couple 100,000 of like active.
Has anybody ever offered you like I've heard people just over speculation, like just talk about, yeah, I sold my email list, or yeah, I'm looking to buy an email list. Is that like a legitimate thing? People buy email lists?
I don't think I think there's
Like
a
a
lot
lead
of
book.
legality around that.
Is there?
Yeah.
I could see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
I
you're
don't
not
think
allowed to
that's
reach out.
I don't think that's technically like a legal thing to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cause when people, there's so many laws around emails, right? So
Yeah.
if someone opts in, right, you can't just send unsolicited mass emails. If someone opts into your email list, they're opting into your email list. They're not opting in to be sold and put into another email list.
Oh, okay.
So the selling emails is technically not legal.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not selling emails, guys. All right. So what about fighting? I saw some fighting videos on your page. Do you fight at all, or?
When I was a teenager, I was interested in boxing and martial arts, and so I trained, and then around 24, 25, I got back into like some boxing stuff, and it's something I do kind of as a hobby.
Yeah. Like, do you have a trainer, or you just kind of mess around yourself?
Right now, no, but
Okay.
I've worked with different trainers, so it's interesting. When I was like a teenager, I actually had this like anger, and I wanted to fight. And even in my mid 20s, sometimes I'd wake up and I'd fucking want to punch a bag, and I had a bob, and I'd do these videos and they would go viral. And probably for the last 4 or 5 years, I don't have any, like, there's no aggression in me. So I don't really, I don't really find the desire to punch or fight anymore.
Yeah.
I like lifting, but it's just, it was a thing I had for a long time. And
Where do
then
you think that anger came from? Like, what was growing up for you like?
Growing up was, I had 3 brothers, a sister, and I was probably more of a quiet kid.
Yeah.
And I probably was, and when I was young, I was definitely more of, I was definitely more shy. And so there's a few moments when I genuinely felt bullied, and it drove me fucking nuts.
Yeah.
It drove me nuts. So I had this desire to become strong and work out. And then,
You gave me that vibe that like you were kind of a quieter kid in school, but like the quiet kid, you like don't want to push too far because he'll just punch you in the face when you like don't expect it.
yeah, well, you know what? I had some moments where I should have, and I froze as a kid, as a young kid, and it pissed me off.
I know that feeling.
It ate at me.
Yeah.
And so then at some points, I had like I was a little too much on the trigger, right? Because if you're holding on to that sort of pain point, then you can overcompensate, right? So I really I hated the feeling, right? Of feeling like, you were bullied or or you let something slide, you didn't stand up for yourself. And then, I did a lot of training, and it makes a massive difference. And even like just knowing how to punch correctly and just training, you have so much more confidence, like in almost every area.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of people that go through that exact same thing, like where there's stuff from their childhood that bothered them. But I feel like a lot of people use that in a negative way and kind of just don't make anything out of themselves. So what were a couple of things that you did instead of like sitting down and feeling sorry for yourself to actually make something and use it for a positive?
You know what's funny though? Like it wasn't even like there was no choice, dude. It was like I just wanted to work out. I wanted to fucking, like, it motivated me. If you ever had a moment like that. And you know, I had like this crazy story. It was actually kind of cute, but like I had this crazy story with my brother where we're going up to this summer house, and I bought I brought this TV, this small little TV, so I could freaking watch Spider-Man as a young kid. And then he was bigger than me and stronger, and he was like, nope, I'm gonna watch the TV. And so he got the TV, right? Because he was bigger. And so we were fighting, but I got my ass kicked. And it just pissed me off that even though I was right, I brought the TV, he was bigger and stronger than me. And so he kind of essentially won. And it drove me crazy. I just wanted to there was many of these moments, but I wanted to be able to like fight and be stronger.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching all the Van Damme movies. I grew up watching Sylvester Stallone. I had a high value attached to, as a man, you want to be strong and powerful. It was very clear to me. And I was never the tallest kid growing up. I was usually a little bit on the smaller side. And so I just wanted to absolutely, be strong and know how to fight. And then I think somewhere around like my later 20s, it's just, that kind of, there's like that aggression was just kind of gone.
Mm-hmm. So besides working out, like you're obviously a very smart guy, and you said that you were also a little bit on the shyer side as well. Did you do anything like with your mind or any really deep work to become a better overall guy?
So, I mean, I would, when I was young and shy, I would, watch YouTube videos, and like YouTube's a cool learning platform, and you know what? It just essentially I would go out and I would make conversation. I would socialize. I'd push myself to be more social. I would test things, and I was definitely more on the introverted, shy side for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's almost like kind of like I didn't, my father passed away when I was young. My brother and I have many brothers. My older brother and I were pretty close in age. So I just didn't really necessarily have the person to teach me how to go be a man, how to socialize, how to ask a girl out. And so I just remember feeling very shy. And then it was almost like I had to give myself permission to get out of my shell. And once I kind of did that, it was much easier. But I was the kid that was always extremely in his head. I was just always in my thoughts, like you couldn't imagine. Just, it was very hard for me to kind of be present unless I had an outlet, unless we were playing sports, or doing, like if I was in like a drama class, we're doing a skit or we're playing sports, I could feel free. But most of the time I was just completely in my head, just always just the thoughts just going.
Mm-hmm. If you don't mind us asking, how'd your father pass away?
Cancer.
My condolences. What
Thank
form
you.
of cancer?
Leukemia.
Yeah. I literally, just last year, my best friend from growing up, she passed away from leukemia.
Shit, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she was 26.
Young.
Yeah, 26, had 2 little girls too. So
damn.
Life is, talk on your appreciation for life. So losing a parent, and obviously you're a little older, so you probably lost some other people as well. Mm-hmm. How have you appreciated life more by obviously watching, or seeing and experiencing the people close to you pass away?
Yeah. So, I mean, losing a parent when you're a young kid is a much different experience than losing a parent as an adult. It's like your whole world shatters around you and your dynamic changes. Like I saw the shift when you are living with, even like my father was working all the time, and even the last couple of years he was doing treatments and stuff, so he wasn't really there. But I felt the shift when you have a single mom and the stress and anxiety that kind of like you feel it, right? So it was a massive shift where I could just feel this, because when you're a kid, you're looking at your parents for
Guidance.
you're kind of mirroring their emotions. If they're feeling good, right, you kind of feel good. And when you can just see someone in pain and just like constant anxiety or depression or whatever. So it was very hard, and you can't really do anything for your parents when you're like 11. So it was definitely a very, very tough situation. And then, it shows you that life is very, very precious. Life is extremely precious, and it's very easy to forget that and just to think there's infinite days, and then you don't value your time, and then you're just sitting down and not taking advantage. And so you kind of realize how precious life is, and you also realize that how precious the people in your life are, because there's no guarantee they're going to be around forever. And at the end of the day, all you can really do is appreciate the time you have with someone, be grateful for the time you have with them, and really just take advantage of take it. Like if you knew someone close to you was going to pass away next year, you would do things completely differently. And so, yeah, the biggest thing I think is just appreciate the time that you got to have with someone and learn from it. And life, the circle of life, we're all gonna pass away. So it's that's the circle of life.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it's a very dangerous thing, because I've seen this where, I've seen this pattern in people in my life, like people close to me in my life. They're like, oh, I wish it was this. This shouldn't have happened. This isn't fair, and this is the worst. This just creates more and more negativity. I wish this didn't happen. This isn't fair. This shouldn't have happened. You got to cut that train of thinking immediately. It's not healthy, and it's completely negative. And the person that passes away, they want you to enjoy your life and make the most of it. They don't want you dwelling and dwelling and dwelling. And so the best thing you can do is just appreciate the time you have with someone. And, the best way to honor their life is to live a great life, and learn from them.
Yeah. Amen. How important is it to invest into coaching and mentorship from the right individuals? And how much have you spent?
Yeah. So, I think there's been a few different points in my life where I was stuck and I found a mentor and I achieved extremely fast progress. So I would say it is not even that it's important, it's almost vital to seek out mentorship. Especially if you're into working out, or you want to start working out, say someone's out of shape, they want to get in shape. If you've been going at it for 6 months and you're just running in circles, not making any progress, you need a mentor. If you're trying to build a business and you're stuck for 6 months, a year, nothing's happening, you want to get a mentor. If you're doing it on your own, but you're getting amazing results, then you know what? Hey, you're killing it. Keep going, keep going. When you get stuck, that's when you want to find a mentor. And I've had mentors that I just manifested and I built a relationship, and maybe there was some mutual benefits and it wasn't paid. And then I've also, paid mentors, and it's been extremely valuable. And I'm not someone that is constantly seeking mentorship. I've had lots of periods where I had no mentors, but it is so important. And even at the highest level, if you go to, top 100 Forbes list, they all surround themselves with advisors and have different mentors. And so it's like at the highest level, this is happening. And sometimes at the middle of the pack level, people have some arrogance. They think, oh, I don't need a mentor.
Yeah. Who do you think mentorship wise is? I know it's been multiple different, individuals, but more so on the business acumen. Who's had the biggest impact in your life, whether it be directly or indirectly, has helped you tremendously just grow your money?
Yeah. On the business side, it's hard to say because I haven't really had a very specific mentor.
Even indirectly, like content you've absorbed. I watch a lot of Hormozy. I couldn't call him a direct mentor, but indirectly I've gotten a lot from him.
Yeah. There's been sort of little, there's one moment, right, where it was 2015. I went to a business dinner in Toronto. We're sitting down and they're talking about this Tai Lopez guy. And then someone's like, oh, he's this douchebag in a Lambo. A lot of these guys were just hating on Tai Lopez. And my natural mindset is when everyone's hating on someone, I try and do the opposite. I'm like, hey, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like there's something else there. Usually if everyone's hating on someone, I kind of want to find the truth. And I looked at Ty Lopez, I saw what he was doing, and he had a pretty cool YouTube format. He would be doing these videos where instead of doing high production, he'd have like the intimacy of having the phone, and it felt pretty natural and real. And then he was running all these ads. And so I remember thinking, I wonder how much he's doing with these ads. And then I found a pretty smart guy and I paid him to run ads, and I made a pretty cool video. And then like at one point, you know, we were spending like 3-4K on ads. This was like 2015, 3K a day, and doing like a 5-6x ROAS on YouTube. It was like nuts, just printing money.
I thought I was spending a lot on ads right now. I was thought,
Yeah.
3K a month.
No, 3K.
You said 3K a day. I was
3K a day, but that was a completely different time. Like that was like
that's
making,
2015.
that was like running ads today, you know, that was just printing money. And
Yeah.
so they were all hating on him. And I was like, what can I learn from him? You know? And it's like, do you want he's not like, no one that's running a video on YouTube is posting their Lamborghini to show off. You're not spending 10, 15K a day to try and show off. You're doing it for a reason, because it's capturing attention. It's getting people to hook them. And so I was like, okay, let's see what he's doing. And I kind of learned a little bit from it. So that was a pretty cool point in my where I took something from him and I applied it. And so there's been a few there's probably been a few moments where I just kind of applied something. But the business area of my life, I've also had like different fitness mentors. So when I was developing my approach, I learned from a handful of different fitness experts. You know, I took kind of the Bruce Lee approach: take that which works, discard the rest. And so I had a lot of different mentors, but the business Kino Body stuff, a lot of it just came natural. I wanted to create content. I wanted to market in a way that I thought was cool. And you know, I at one point I was probably a very early person to do drone footage. I did like a drone shoot in 2015. People thought I was using a helicopter, and I wanted to create like a very cinematic, almost movie-like, almost movie trailer-like kind of video to really sell and teach my brand. And that was, at the time, that was pretty unique. So I've tried to, in some areas, I've tried to like really be ahead of the curve. When I was discussing intermittent fasting, it was completely fringe.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, it was, people thought that fasting would cause you to crash metabolism, lose muscle. So I've been pretty early.
I did a 5-day fast. I almost died.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do 5 days. I do short.
I did a 5-day water fast.
Yeah, 5-day fast is, you're gonna lose some serious.
I just did that out of competition. It was for literally zero health benefit. I don't think I got any health benefit. I definitely lost muscle.
But you know what? The fact that you could do it, man, it's this hyper discipline. It is very hard to do a 5-day, especially when you're lean.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of fat,
That's what I told my mom. She challenged me. She's like, I bet you can't do 5 days. I was like, listen, we have different, love my mother to life. I was like, we're built a little different, okay? Like, I'm like sub 10% body fat. This is gonna I'm gonna do it just because I'm gonna beat you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so competitive. It's like, I gotta beat my mom. But I won. So
I was experimenting with doing like maybe a 36-hour fast. And
Dana White did it too, but even when he did it, he was bigger before.
Dana White, he did the 40 pounds overweight.
He was overweight. So I was like, okay, because realistically speaking, your body, you would probably scientifically explain it better, but like it starts to eat, itself in a sense. But it's like when you're already so lean, like, what's my body eating?
I mean, they've had people that were like 300 pounds overweight,
they should
400
do a
pounds
300
overweight
fast.
that went an entire year without
Yeah.
food.
Yeah.
Just vitamins, right? So when you're 10% body fat, you don't have much fat left, right?
Yeah.
So your body is actually going to have to choose between losing fat and muscle. At 10%, you can't be going 5 days without food.
I didn't sleep the last 2 days.
Yeah, no, it's very, very hard to sleep. And when you have higher levels of body fat, you have more circulating leptin, which keeps your appetite lower. It keeps your energy levels high. So there's the physiological hunger, right? Most people that are overweight, they don't get as much physiological hunger. It's the psychological hunger. It's the habits, the patterns, the cravings. It's like, that's also why fasting is very good for someone that's very overweight, because it helps them differentiate between what are cravings and psychological hunger through reinforced habits and what's actual physiological hunger.
It's like breaking a cycle in a way.
Exactly. But for someone that's lean, right, the physiological hunger cues will kick in way faster because you have limited fat stores. If right now you and someone that was 40 pounds overweight had to survive, in an environment with very little food, the person that's more overweight would actually be better suited. Yeah. Right. Because they can tap into that body fat is stored fuel.
Till I eat them.
You have a lot of muscle you could tap into, right? Yeah. But it's easier to tap into body fat.
Yeah, I feel like the breakdown of the muscle would take longer.
Yeah, and there's going to be more like hunger and discomfort associated with tapping into muscle tissue.
Yes. Well, let's talk on. Do you have a wife, girlfriend?
No wife, and I keep my dating personal life like pretty private.
Okay, well then let me ask you, because I just want to help out young guys.
Yeah.
How important is it to have the right women in your life?
Yeah, I would say, well, that is very, very important. But if you even go a layer deeper, a lot of men, and I've seen this, they have a very hard time leaving a woman that is horrible for them. So I've seen this when some guys get very attached to this relationship, and maybe this woman is putting them down, gaslighting them, causing them tons of stress, causing them to and again, I say causing them, but it's not really causing them because they have a choice. Mm-hmm. They're in control. If a woman that you're in like dating is being horrible to you and being brutal, and you stay in it, it's your fault. Yeah. So I've even had a conversation with a close friend of mine last few days ago, and he was in this really brutal relationship. At the end of the day, it's like, dude, you have to have boundaries, right? You have to have standards. If you're going after goals and you're doing something big in your life, right? But at the same time, you let someone walk all over you, you let someone talk down to you, condescend you. It's like those don't fit, right? You can't be doing big things, having high self-esteem, going after your goals, and at the same time having someone undermining you all the time. And so I was blown away. I'm like, I don't know how so many guys just stay in that relationship. You just literally have to just say, hey, look, if this is how you're going to talk to me, this is not going to work out. If this is the kind of relationship you want to have, you should go and do that, but it's not going to be with me, okay? I want a relationship with respect. If you can't handle that, this will not work. Mm-hmm. How many guys have actually said that to their girlfriend that was being harsh? And you know what? Like, end of the day, it's like, if you have a strong frame and you have confidence and you have boundaries, people don't walk all over you, right? But if you let the smallest things slide and you don't stand up for yourself in like not in an emotional reactive way, but if you don't stand up for yourself and really make it clear what your boundaries are, and then you will find that you'll get mistreated. And so having the right person is absolutely important, but having the right person is a mix of choosing someone, right, that has a good head on their shoulders, that's a good fit, but also knowing how to cultivate a good relationship, right? Because you can have someone that you can have a girl that dates one guy, treats him really bad, and doesn't value him and doesn't respect him, and then she could date another guy and respect him completely. It's a real thing that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's fire.
Yeah,
I feel like there should be like for young men like a Department of Women Efficiency.
Yeah, and there's some women that there's some women out there that would not be ideal partner for
just in general.
Yeah.
So you have to look for honesty, and you have to look for certain different qualities, but and you have to identify potential red flags. I mean,
you have to audit them.
You have
to audit them, kind of like the government, like Department of Government Efficiency, like auditing constantly. Like, is this person making my life better?
Yeah.
And if not, you're fired.
Mm-hmm. The most obvious one is drugs. If a girl is doing drugs, she's not going to be a good partner.
Oh my God. No.
Yeah. If a woman is going out and or a guy, right? If a guy's doing drugs, he's not going to be a good partner. if someone's getting absolutely
What if a girl's like, oh, well, I do OnlyFans, but I really love you.
I mean, what about me? I mean, people can make their own choice. If someone is in love and wants to date someone that does OnlyFans, that's absolutely their decision.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. So, I mean, is that sort of the partner that I would want?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
But I mean, look, if someone wants to date a girl that does OnlyFans, that's absolutely their decision.
Yeah. 1000%. And my girl doesn't do OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be careful in Miami. I feel like
Yeah,
it's a surprise. It's like the first
definitely.
It's like the first question you gotta make. Like you're going through your audit, your exam of like, all right, potentially make this my partner. You do OnlyFans? We're in Miami, so I need to make sure.
Yeah, the
that's-
morals are definitely a lot.
I mean, I would just like, if I had a daughter or a close female friend, I would tell them it's probably not something you should do.
Yeah,
You know, try and think 10 years out.
that's a great reference point.
Yeah.
It's like imagining this is like if this was your daughter in a sense. Like how would you want your daughter to operate? And that's who the woman you want to be with.
One of the strongest signs or links with successful people is they tend to be very long-term thinking.
Yes,
They're thinking long-term. You can make more money in the short term, but is that going to help you get to the highest level in the long term? I mean, I had a point where I could have made more money at 21 doing different jobs, doing, personal training and working for these other people, but I chose to make very little money working on my dream, right? So if you are a woman and you think 10 years out and you want to be doing OnlyFans in 10 years and it doesn't bother you, then that's fine. But if you think 10 years out and in 10 years out, you don't want to have that baggage, then you should not. But you have to think 10 years out.
Yeah.
And it's tempting to just think right now, what's going to make me comfortable right now? What's going to give me money right now? It's tempting, right?
Yeah.
But it takes discipline to do what's going to be best for you 10 years out. And it's not to say that anyone, it's not to say that doing OnlyFans is it can't be a positive thing, right? Like there's some women that are making millions and millions of dollars doing OnlyFans. And if that's what makes them happy, and maybe they can help support their family and pay off these loans and, like send money to, their family in Eastern Europe or whatever, like maybe they can go and solve serious family issues and it can be a beneficial thing, right? But I'd say for the most part, most women, if they think 10 years out, they probably would be like, I don't want to do it.
I agree.
So what's your stance on like a younger guy that isn't fully like set up in their life yet, something like that? Like you were talking about like a girl bringing him down kind of. So what is your stance on a younger guy that's not fully set up? How is not fully being a man yet going to affect his relationship with a girl?
So the main thing is, as a man, especially when you're young in your 20s, your main job is to become successful. It is to find your path, find your mission in life, build your skills, build your network, develop yourself. And so that when you're 30, when you're 27, when you're 35, you can be really making an impact, doing something you really care about. So your main job is to learn, become successful, run experiments, build a network, and test things. Dating is secondary. So if you make, and we're all gonna make mistakes. If you're 25, 22, you're gonna get in a relationship. We're all gonna make mistakes, get heartbroken. Maybe you lose yourself in the relationship and you put the girl above everything else, which actually punishes the women, right? Because a girl doesn't want a guy that's a walking doormat that is gonna not go and do what he's meant to do, not go and show up for his business, show up for the gym, and just sacrifice all his time and just become like, two little kind of roommates, right? A woman is gonna be way more attracted if you have a frame and you're focused on your goals. Ambition and confidence are two of the strongest attraction triggers for women. So the most important thing is it's okay to make mistakes and maybe in a relationship, you're learning. You're never going to be perfect when you're very young, but the main thing is to focus on your goals, because likely if you're 21, you have a girlfriend, the chance it's actually going to work out and you guys are going to get married is pretty low. And so you don't want to sacrifice, like you have so much energy in your 20s. And so you don't want to sacrifice that. You have to keep improving. It's like your life is like a video game. You're your own video game character. Every year you want to improve your skills. You want to get stronger. You want to build your ability, increase your ability to acquire resources, to learn skills, to build your network. You want to feel like every week, every month, your video game character is leveling up. Unfortunately, most men in their 20s, once they get a girlfriend, they turn that off. They stop self-improving. They get apathetic. Great, they have a girlfriend, they're having sex, and so they stop getting that ambition and that drive. And women naturally, this is sort of how humans are wired, right? Women, they want to be with the best man they can be, and they want to be with someone that is capable of one day providing for a family. And so if you're not putting in 100% into building success, into building a career, you don't have to go on and make $1 million a year, right? You just make a solid income. If you're not putting in 100%, why should this girl be with you? Why should she be? It was actually the women that made it through evolution selected the right mate.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't,
Natural selection.
that chose the freaking lovable loser that didn't have that drive, and they got weeded out of existence.
Yeah.
And so women actually have to be very, very careful, because from an evolutionary standpoint, right, their genetic survival depended on choosing a guy that could, one, he was strong, right, could defend the family, and two, he could go out and get resources, achieve some level of status, and just secure their genetic code. And so there's a lot of this men community that just becomes so negative on women. It's like, look at evolution. Look at how people are wired. They're operating. This is how they're wired. Don't hate the game. Learn the game. So it's women have to be very, very selective on the mate they choose, because our genetic code hasn't changed very much, right? So if a woman got pregnant, she needed someone to provide. You can't do much for 9 months. And so having picking the right mate was very, very important.
Fire. Yeah, dude. It's been absolute fire, guys. We've already ripped 41 minutes. You have anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I have one more question, actually. So I heard you speak about a book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's one of my favorite books as well.
Oh.
So how do you think, because for me personally, there's a lot of books that have actually changed my life just from one time reading it. How do you think that book has actually impacted your life?
Well, for me, right? Yep. For me, I was always so focused on the future, on getting to the next level. That's how my mind was wired. And sometimes the present moment, what you have to do to get to the goal, the present moment just lost its fulfillment, and it just felt empty, and it just always felt about, I want to be here, right? I want to get to that next level. And then the journey to your goals becomes flat, and it almost becomes harder to achieve your goals, because really, like, the more present you can be, on the podcast right now, when you're in the gym, when you're in a meeting, when you're filming content, when you're with your team, right? The more present in the moment you can be, the more powerful future you can create. And so that was really learning how to just accept this moment, be in this moment, was completely game changing for just making life more enjoyable, relationships better. But for a lot of the people that are listening, most people go through life and they have negative thought patterns. They have a tendency to self-sabotage. They start to make a little bit of progress. They sabotage themselves. I've seen it so often. So many people have these thoughts, these ties that are holding them back based on, how they grew up, their family dynamic. I was fortunate where I grew up, and my father was incredibly successful, and he had a way of thinking where if you want it bad enough, you're willing to put in the work, you will get the result, right? Whatever you want, let's find a way you can do it. So I had this self-belief, right? But most people grew up in a household being like, no, that's too expensive. You can't do this. These people, it's like, a lot of people grew up in a household where they thought other people were cut from a different cloth. Mm-hmm. And so Power of Now teaches you how to, one, become present, two, observe these thoughts, disconnect from them, and now you can create your new reality. It's like you have a program in your head, right? This program in your head, is exactly why you are exactly where you are, right? So if someone is feeling stuck, they're trying to do things that keep ending up in the same spot, they have the wrong program in their head. Power of now, practicing the power of now, observing your thoughts allows you to uninstall that program so you can put in the right program. It sounds crazy. I've used it, and I actually have a lot of my fitness clients. It's like a non-negotiable thing. I tell them, listen to Power of Now 20 minutes a day, do it for a month. I've listened to it 30, 40 times, and it just it helps get you out of that old program. It's very hard to change your beliefs, your thought patterns. It's a movie going on all the time. And so meditation and Power of Now is it's almost like non-negotiable. Just living in this modern life with social media, with all the inputs that have been into your head, it's non-negotiable.
They're not even your thoughts.
Exactly.
A lot of the negative thoughts that you're having aren't actually yours. They've been placed by your parents for people that have had negative upbringings from social media. So I feel like for me, especially the Power of Now, it just made me more aware of my thoughts. And then I started to realize, oh, these negative thoughts actually aren't mine. And it gave me the ability to actually change them. So
yes, it gives you the power to change them and to disconnect from them, observe them. And it's like non-negotiable. I think everyone should go through it at least 3 times. And you learn so much about yourself as you go through it. And then you gain this power to disconnect these thoughts. And so it's been something I've utilized. It's very effective.
Fire. Let's go. Absolute fire. Guys, Grego Gallagher and my dog here, Tony. Make sure you guys tune into the podcast, like, subscribe, share. Another episode of AK. Peace.
Awesome.
Let's go.